Alright, guys, this is part two. I'll talk for maybe a good 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, and I'm going to shut this camera off here. Take my shower, go to the store, get my beer and smokes, and I'll enjoy the video with you guys when I come home. And I'm gonna wait it out for New Year's 2023 is in a couple hours from now, guys. It's in a good, I don't know, 4.5 hours from now. I hope you guys have a happy New Year's with your family, your loved ones, obviously. Victoria Justice, I hope you have a happy New Year's with your family, with your so-called family. Obviously, I know, VJ, your family's wicked, obviously, and my family's wicked. But I hope you have a happy New Year's with your family, obviously, with your step family, and and I'll have a supposedly happy New Year's with my step family, obviously. 2023, guys, and this year will be the next year. 2023 will be the year when I'm done my book, man. I'm gonna hire Vincent Valentino. I'm gonna do that interview with him. I'm gonna promote that way. Make that one video where you see my face. I do that 2 hour interview, and that way I'm gonna promote my book. And that's the cue that Ivan O'Mara is now about to become king, man. And I'm gonna let 2024 will be the year I'll let my step family know. Like, we only have a good 1 year left of me on YouTube, guys. I'll be popping on my listening series for another year. Thousands of videos for you to watch, obviously. But after that 1 year, on 2024, I'll be letting my step parents know, man, about my book. And they're gonna, because my step parents are retiring, man. Like, in a couple of years, they're gonna retire, like, from the government, supposedly, right? Yeah, I want you out of the house in like 2 years, because I'm getting old. I'm by 30 years old. You shouldn't be living with your parents. You should have your own place, and be making like your by now I would have been rich, obviously, living out life with VJ. But they lock the doors on me. They know to lock the doors on me. Hence why their True Nature will show. Yeah, we lock the doors on Ivan. You can't make any money. Yes, I can't pay my rent working fucking minimum wage. Working minimum wage. I can't pay my rent with that kind of money. You need to make at least a good 40 plus thousand a year to pay your rent. You see what I'm saying? At least you need to make at least 30 plus thousand to pay your rent, man. Minimum wage, you only make like 25K a year, 24K a year. You make 18,000, 24,000 a year. You make working minimum wage. You can't pay a rent with that kind of money. You see what I'm saying? Hence why they know. Yeah, Ivan wrote his own book. He has the keys. He'll make his plays. It pisses them off. Obviously, they don't want me. They don't want what? They don't want me being with VJ. Obviously, that's what this whole thing's about. You guys don't want me being with VJ, and you don't want me being king, and you don't want to be left behind. Hence why you're gonna try me with sharing your death. It boggles my mind how you guys can't just let go of your enemy, just let me have VJ free. I have to pay for it, obviously, because you guys are crazy people, obviously. Yeah, man. You're fucking crazy people, yeah, man. That's why once I end it, yeah, and I pay this fee, I cry my heavy tears, obviously, knowing I'm gonna die, and VJ's crying, oh, you guys have no idea how much heavy tears I'm gonna cry when I find out I have to die for my wife. You guys are looking at mental anguish tears, because there's nothing worse than knowing that you're gonna die and everything will go black. That's why sometimes I'm scared, man. Like, what if I cowered out and run off? Yeah, if I did that, I'll crush VJ. She would cry every night, and she would see hell forever, and she'll never see her husband. You put me through that fucking horror, and you think I'm gonna save you when I'm king, because you're crazy people, obviously. You're not saved when I'm king. You're left behind. Because you guys don't deserve to be saved, because you're wicked people, obviously. You don't deserve to be saved. You deserve to be left behind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you made me rich, and I'll be happy with my wife, but you made me pay, and you're also gonna pay too when you made me suffer. It's one thing that caused that mess. Another thing that caused that mess is have me suffer death. And you think I'm gonna put me through that anguish? You think I'm gonna save you when I'm king? No, man. You sabotage my channel. You don't want to talk on me, as I'm not making any videos on my channel. You're left behind. You're not saved. I'm not coming back. Well, Ivan's using us. No, I'm not using you. You're also using me too. You what? You're also using me too. You what? You don't want to talk on me in the public eye, and you keep my channel sabotaged. You think I'm gonna make videos for free? No, man. You want to see me in the public eye, you gotta pay, man. I want to see the billion views on my channel. I'm not gonna have you make fun of me, or Ivan watch this over and have me cause that mess, like make fun of me behind the scenes and have me dupe like that and have me make videos for you. No, man. You chose to keep behind the scenes. I'm not making any videos for you. Get what you deserve. Yeah, man. And I pay this fee and I get it over with and I wake up. Don't hate me, you know what I'm saying? I wake up, obviously. I wake up, obviously, and what? I wake up, obviously, and what? And, I wake up, obviously, and then I say my final 30-day goodbyes number and I get that check. I don't know how much money I'll get. My first check might be 10, it might be 12, it might be 13, it might be $14 billion. I don't know. My guess is around 10 million bucks I'm gonna make off saying this. We're probably looking at a good maybe, I don't know, 800, 900 million people buying it worldwide. Because some people might share the file. I'm gonna tell you a little secret here, guys. You can actually share your file. If you download a PDF file, if you pay your $22 for the ebook, obviously, all you need is you can easily get a USB. You can easily send someone another copy, a free copy of your file. You can share the file. I threw a little secret out there, so a lot of people are going to be doing that, obviously. But most people will buy it because $22 is cheap, but you can share the file if you want. One person can pay $22 in the family, and they can share the file with everyone else. You can do that for ebook, obviously. Whereas for the print, you have to have a copy for yourself, obviously. But for the ebook file, you can share it. So I'm saying I just threw out a little secret there. Yeah, chances are a lot of people are going to do that. Hence why it cuts it down to maybe 700, 800, 900 people buying it. I make like 10 billion bucks off my book. So I'm saying, yeah, and I make that money, and I see V in Los Angeles, and I live that life with her, and you're left behind. So I'm gonna ask you this question: well, what did you gain by doing this? What did you gain by causing this mess in my life and killing me with video? What did you gain by doing this? Like you thought you can dupe me and have me and win the game like that. You guys make fun of me about the mess behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And VJ, I guarantee VJ tells those men, please don't tell live what happened between us, because she's fucking evil, obviously. Whatever happened between us, keep it to yourself. Please don't tell. Please don't tell my husband what happened between us, because she's fucking evil, obviously. You know what I'm saying? You'll crush him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas I'm not gonna tell these women, please don't tell VJ what happened between us. Because what? Because unlike me, I'm not like VJ, obviously. I'm not gonna be stupid like VJ, obviously. I'm not gonna tell them, please don't tell them what happened between I'm not gonna tell them, please don't tell them what happened between because it makes you look what? It makes you look very fucking guilty. That's why I'm not gonna tell the woman that. But they know they're not gonna say anything to VJ, obviously, otherwise they'll crush her. But what? These women in Hollywood know to keep their mouth shut what happened between me and them and behind the scenes, obviously. Just like the men know to keep their mouth shut what would happen between them and VJ, because they know they would crush both me and VJ. It would ruin the relationship, obviously, because you guys are wicked people, obviously. Yeah. Obviously, you make fun of me. I know how people make fun of me about the mess. Yeah, if you want to be a dick like that when you're the one who set the whole thing up for the mess to happen, obviously, if you want to be a dick like that, and you think I'm going to save you when I'm king, you got another thing coming, man. I'm also going to make fun of you. You're left behind. You're bad from the word of God. I'm going to live forever as well, VJ, and you're left behind. You're not saved. Sincere? You're left behind. You're not saved. You're not saved. Sincere? You're not saved. Okay, going back to the Hollywood thing, and before I shut this camera off here, if you hear the noise upstairs, it's my step parents saying, you gotta excuse the noise. And I'm gonna take my shower and I'm gonna go to the store and get my beer and smokes. And I'm gonna celebrate New Year's Eve on my own, pretty much, right? Celebrate New Year's 2023, guys. And I'll be 31 years old in a good 19 days. I'll be 31 years old. My birthday is January 18th, 1992. I'll be 31 years old, guys, next year. It's crazy, man. I'm 31. I'm officially in my early 30s. I'm getting old, man. Yeah, I'm not getting any younger, man. Yeah. But yeah, going back to the Hollywood topic, yeah, Hollywood nowadays is pretty much it's all about making money, and it's all about less on quality, more on quantity. Nowadays the studios focus more on the spectacle and putting butts in seats and making money. They don't really care that much about the story. Gone are the days in Hollywood where they tell a lot of amazing great stories like they did in the 80s and the 90s. You look at if you when you look at the movies in the 80s and the 90s, you see a clear difference in quality from the movies made now. The movies made now, most of them are bad movies. They're not great movies. You see what I'm saying? No, I'm not kidding around. Ask anyone, what do you think is the best era of movies? I think the best era of movies is the 90s. The 90s had a lot of good quality. The 90s and the 80s had a lot of good movies, man. The 70s too. The 70s were pretty good, but I think the 80s and the 90s were the decades where they had a lot of great movies. You know what I'm saying? But those movies back then were not big spectacle movies. They were smaller budget movies, but they had great stories, great character development, great stories. Gone are the days in Hollywood where you have movies like that. Now it's all about the spectacle. All the corporations in Hollywood care about is the spectacle of the movies, making money, putting butts in the seats. Less on quality, more on quantity. You know what I'm saying, like Marvel. Even though Marvel, you have some good stories. A lot of the movies are more. They're more what? They're more about the spectacle. More spectacle, less on quality storytelling, and that's what puts butts in the seats. That's what makes them money. Obviously, that's why the Marvel franchise is so successful. Obviously, some saying, yeah, it's all spectacle now. You look at all the movies that are made. You know what I'm saying? They're all big, like 100, 200 million budget movies, and they focus more on spectacle, less on story. Don't get me wrong. There are a few movies out there that have great stories, but then they don't. But those movies, most of those movies don't make much money. Most of the movies that have like great stories, a lot of them don't even make money, man. Because nowadays it's all about the spectacle. That's what puts butts in the seats. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? A lot of great storytelling movies don't make money because nowadays the what? Nowadays the what? The new generation they love what? They love the spectacle of movies. That's what puts butts in the seats. That's what makes the corporations their money. But gone are the days when Hollywood focused more on storytelling. Gone are the days where they give the filmmakers power. Nowadays, the execs are the ones who have the power, not the filmmakers. I believe the execs should be involved with the filmmaker's decision. Obviously, they should have the same vision. Obviously, but I think the moment you interfere with the filmmaker's vision, obviously, you're pretty much telling the creative filmmaker that you know more than the filmmaker. When in reality, the executives don't know more than the filmmaker. They don't know shit about the creative side of the movie. They're business people. They're not creative people, Sarah. They're business people. They're not creative people. Obviously, Sarah. That's why I don't want to be in Hollywood because I know I don't want these fucking executives touching my fucking story. They're gonna change. I don't know. They change a bunch of things in my movie. You know what I'm saying? And they'll give me a little bit of power. But yeah, I will give you power, but like you have to take our notes. I'm like, look, man, I don't want you guys ruining my fucking movie. I know how your thing works in Hollywood. You guys all care about spectacle, action, and the big lights are on. You know what I'm saying? You care more about spectacle than quality of story. I don't want you guys ruining this fucking masterpiece of a story that I wrote. That's why I don't want to be in Hollywood. I told you I want to get my freedom. I want my creative freedom. I don't want anyone touching my story. I'm saying, I guarantee if I sold out and I hired Peter Jackson would be pissed off. He'd be like, Ivan, why the fuck did you sell out? He's like, you know what I'm saying? You would have had your full control. He's like, you could have made this movie for $1,020,000. You know what I'm saying? Like now Hollywood owns your IP, and they're gonna take all your money out of it. Peter would tell me that if he were in my Zane's movie. And me and Peter will be dirty slaves because we're in Hollywood. We have to do it to make our money. Vijay will be a dirty slave. And Hollywood maybe put maybe 300 million towards my movie, 350 million towards my Zane's movie. So compare that to the 1,020,000,000 I'm putting towards Zane's if I don't sell. When I don't sell, yeah. God gave me these stupid keys. That way I don't have to sell to the gatekeepers. I can make my easy money. See what I'm saying? Even though I see it as a bit of a curse, I'm scared to think bad thoughts. That's why you're going to have to excuse the noise. Whenever I think bad thoughts, guys, embarrassing not, you have to excuse the noise. So I'm saying it's noise, just ignore the noise, obviously. But what? God gave me these keys that way, what? God gave me these keys that way I can open my own door. And now that I made my 10 million off my book, I can fund Zane's with my own cash for even more money than how much Hollywood can fund it for. $1,020,000,000. And I have total creative freedom and control over my movie. I don't have to worry about the studio's execs touching my story and changing one things in my story and taking away that freedom of thought, freedom of creativity from me. Because guaranteed if I sold out Hollywood execs would have control over my movie and my project. They probably, if I sold on Hollywood would probably have me co-write it. Ivan will have you co-write it. We'll give you some power, but like we have a lot to say. You have to follow our notes, all that stuff. They wouldn't give Peter full power. Peter would have to rely on the notes that they take and all that stuff. Yeah, me and Peter would not have full power. Peter will have they'd probably give Peter a lot of power, but he doesn't have full power like he does for my movie for Sky Source. And Peter would be pissed off. Ivan, why the fuck did you sell out, man? You know what I'm saying? Like the Hollywood system's fucked up, man. You don't want to be in Hollywood, yeah. Whereas for my company, I get my freedom, creative freedom, freedom of thought. I don't have to worry about the executives touching my story, yeah. I can take my notes with Vijay and I can tell the story that I want to tell. Obviously. Ivan, are you saying that your Sky Source Zane's movie would be better than the Hollywood Zane's movie? Yes. The Sky Source Zane's movie will be better than the Hollywood Zane's movie because I know what's best for my story. I wrote the fucking book. I know more about my Zane story than these Hollywood executives know about my Zane story. The Hollywood executives are not creative people; they're business people. They hire creative people to do the movie, but they're not creative people; they're business people. That's what you need to understand. These Hollywood executives are not creative people; they're business people, and they're good for they know business. They don't know anything about creativity. You see what I'm saying? And yet the filmmakers rely heavily on studio executive notes when they direct, all that stuff. So I'm saying, because I wrote Zane's, I know what's best for my story. The Sky Source Zane's movie would be better than a Hollywood Zane's movie, guaranteed. Better technology, Aerith no more demons and devils. Whereas if I was in Hollywood, they'd probably have Aerith be a PG-13 wolf. You know, it would probably change a bunch of things in my story, yes. They wouldn't give me the creative freedom that I have compared to if I start Sky Source, yes. Not as good action scenes, just yes, the movie won't be as good. It probably, I don't know, if Hollywood adapted a movie, it might perhaps still be a masterpiece or a pretty good movie, but it will not be as good as the movie I would make if I were to start Sky Source and put $1,020,000,000 towards it. So and I have my creative freedom, and I co-write the script with Peter Jackson, my two screenwriters. It will not be as good as a movie, I guarantee, because I'm very creative. I have a creative gift. I'm very creative. I know how to tell a good story. I already know how I want the beginning of my movie to start. I already have an idea of how I want the movie to start. I have all these pictures in my mind. How I want the beginning of Zane's to start, because I'm creative. I know how I want The Great Escape to start. I know how I want Dirty Need to start already. Yes, I know how I want the Infinite movies to start already. Yeah, I have all the pictures in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm creative, obviously. I'm born with a gift. Not the most intelligent man. Like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and like Vijay and all of them are probably smarter than me intelligently. Peter's more smarter than me intelligently. As I saw him do interviews about the industry, he talks about all the cameras and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, he's clearly more intelligent than me, but I'm very, very creative. I'm a creative genius, man. I know how to tell good stories, I'm saying. I'm very, very creative. God gave me a gift, obviously. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the cold truth about the Hollywood industry. The Hollywood industry has changed over the past. It's sad, obviously, that no, gone are the days where you have these where Hollywood tells great stories, man. Now it's all about spectacle, man. Gone are the days where you have top quality telling stories. There's exceptions, obviously. There's a few gems here and there. Like Black Panther is a great story. Winter Soldier, not so much. It's not the greatest story, but it's more lean more on spectacle. Civil War is not really a great story, but it has a great spectacle. Infinity War is a pretty good story, but it's spectacle. See how I'm saying how it's all about spectacle now? James Bond is not the greatest story, but it's spectacle, obviously. Big high car chasing scenes, action scenes. Yeah, it's all, now in Hollywood it's more on quantity, less on quality. Let's make a big 200, 150, 100 minute movie, and that will put, let's have high spectacle. And now we'll put, but that's what puts butts in the seats, obviously. Yes, it puts butts in the seats, and you made a lot of money. But what did it challenge the humans? Did it challenge the human's mind? Did that story live with them for decades? No, it's the movie. The story is all the movie. The story is all what? The movie is all spectacle. Because great stories live with us, live on with us till we die. You know what I'm saying? They challenge our beliefs, how we see things in the world. They challenge us. Yes, that's what great stories do. And now Hollywood, that's lacking in Hollywood now. As Hollywood, they focus more on spectacle now. That's the cold truth about Hollywood, Sarah. In the 90s and 80s, though, they had a lot of great stories. 30, 40, $10 million budget movies, but there were a lot of great stories. Less spectacle, obviously. But yet those movies did not do as much in the box office. Yes, the spectacle is what puts butts in the seats, obviously. Stories is what challenges the human mind and lives on with them till they die, obviously. That's the difference. Great stories can put butts in the seats too, but the movies that really make the money are the high spectacle movies. That's what puts butts in the seats. That's what makes the studios money. And that's the reality of Hollywood today. They focus more on spectacle, less on great stories. As most of the movies now in Hollywood that come out are garbage. They're not great movies. They're only, I don't know, every year you probably have maybe 12 good movies, and all the other movies are garbage. They're not great movies. Every year when all the movies that come out, you have maybe 12, 15 movies. 12, 15, 20 movies that are good, and the rest are garbage. That's how it works in Hollywood. Most 99.9% of the movies in Hollywood are garbage movies. They're not great movies. And maybe a good 10, 15, 20 of them are good. And the rest are garbage. I'm sorry, they're not great movies. The garbage movies will guarantee most likely lose money, obviously. The great what? The great storytelling movies, some of them make money, some of them break even, obviously. Some of them lose money. And the spectacle movies, those are the ones that put butts in the seats. Those are the ones that makes the Hollywood companies their money. And that's why Marvel is so successful. Because don't get me wrong, even though the Marvel movies are good movies, obviously, the stories in it are not the greatest stories. Some of the movies have great stories, obviously, but they're not the greatest stories. It's because of the spectacle. It's because it has such high spectacle. That's why the movies make so much money. And they have pretty good stories, but they're not the greatest stories. You see what I'm saying? Like Lord of the Rings, the story of Lord of the Rings beats out the Marvel stories, in my opinion. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, the Star Wars originals beats out the Marvel stories. The Godfather beats out the Marvel stories. Yet those movies did not do as much money. Why? Because spectacle is what sells tickets. Great stories is what challenges the human mind, and it lives on with you till you die. Obviously, spectacle is what puts butts in seats. Great stories can sell your movie too, obviously, but like the spectacle is what sells tickets. Obviously, I thought I should talk about this in this video. Raw Benevian said it. He said, "Yeah, gone are the days where Hollywood tells great stories. Yeah, now it's all about making the big 100, 150, 200 million dollar budget movies, and they focus more on spectacle because that's what sells tickets. That's what puts butts in the seats. That's the cold truth, man. Spectacle is what puts butts in the seats. It's what sells tickets, man. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that you get a movie where you have high spectacle and you tell a great, amazing story. That's very, very rare nowadays in Hollywood. Hollywood focuses more now on quantity, less on quality. And like nowadays, you look at all the big budget movies; they're all made for $100+ million. In the '90s, there was nothing like that in the '90s, in the '80s. In the '90s, a big budget movie in the '90s was like a 30-40 million budget movie in the '90s and the '80s, right? Yeah, but the '90s and the '80s they focused more on telling great stories, less on spectacle. And once Terminator 2 came out and they made that for $100 million, everyone was shocked. Holy shit, this is like the most expensive movie ever made. You know what I'm saying? It was made for 100 million. And now 100 million is the norm, the average norm for all the big budget movies in Hollywood. And nowadays, you don't see big budget movies made for like 40, $50 million. No, they're made for 100, 150, $200 million. $250 million in Hollywood. I'm saying? Obviously. Ivan, you saying that? Are you saying that now in Hollywood, like most movies are not great stories? No, there are a few movies that have great spectacle, but also have great stories. Man of Steel is a perfect example of a great story and also great spectacle. Black Panther is a perfect example of a great story and great spectacle. Infinity War is an example of a great story, but also great spectacle. But then I don't find Infinity War to have the greatest story. Infinity War was a good story. I think Black Panther was a better story than Infinity War, to be honest. But because Infinity War, you had the what? You had the what? You had that spectacle. You know what I'm saying? You had that spectacle. What? I like Infinity War better, obviously, than Black Panther. But most of the Marvel movies don't have the greatest stories. They're good stories, they're pretty good stories, but they're not the greatest stories. But they have high entertainment value, and they're very, very entertaining, and hence why the movies make a lot of money. Because Marvel is all spectacle. Story, they focus on story too, obviously, but it's all spectacle in Marvel. It's all spectacle. It's there. Whereas you look at movies like Tick Tick Boom, The Fablemans, all these movies these are movies that have great stories. You know, all these movies, some of these movies lost money, they broke even, they didn't make that much money. Yeah, because nowadays the new generation, their mind is programmed to it's all about the big lights, the action sequences, the big special effects. That's what it's about these days. Those are the movies that make money. Gone are the days where Hollywood makes a lot of great movies with great stories. They focus more on spectacle now because all these little small great story movies. I'm saying they lose money. They don't make much money, and if they make profit, they make very little profit. Whereas the big spectacle movies, those are the movies that make the money. Yes, the '90s and the '80s is not the same. It's not the same as the 2020s, man. It's a very, very different era for movies in Hollywood when you compare the '80s and the '90s to the 2020s and 2010s. I made a 1 hour video here. Yeah, it's a very different generation from 40, 30, 20 years ago, Samsara. Gone are the days, guys, where Hollywood focuses on telling great stories. Now it's all about spectacle. Tell okay stories, have great action sequences, great visual effects, and that will sell tickets. Yes, Jurassic World Dominion. Think about this for a second. Jurassic World Dominion, I heard, was not a great movie. And yet the movie made what? The movie made almost $1 billion. So why? Because it's spectacle, obviously. You see what I'm saying? Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, I heard, wasn't that great of a movie. It made a lot of money. Thor Love and Thunder was not that great of a movie, but it had spectacle. It made a lot of money. And yet movies like The Fablemans, Ever All at Once, those movies, what? Made very little profit or broke even. Why? Because nowadays it's all about spectacle. Spectacle is what puts butts in the seats. Fans these days seem to not really care much about the small great storytelling movies. They care more about these big budget movies that have high spectacles. Those are the movies that put butts in seats. That's why the era in Hollywood has changed. Obviously, times have changed in the Hollywood industry. It's more about spectacle, less on the storytelling aspect. They tell some great stories in Hollywood nowadays too, but like most of the movies nowadays are garbage in Hollywood. Like you only have a few gems here and there. 10, 15, 20 movies a year that are good, and the rest are all garbage movies. They're not great movies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why television nowadays is what? Now television, a lot of stuff in television is good these days. Television, I think, is doing pretty good now. They have a lot of good storytelling stories in television. But for movies, man, a lot of movies are garbage today. They're not that great movies. They're not that great movies. Sincere. I thought I should throw that out there. Throw that out there. I thought I should throw that out there. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. I made a 1 hour video. I thought it'd be cool to talk about the change in the Hollywood industry. A lot has changed in the Hollywood industry since the 80s and 90s and 2000s. Nowadays, they focus more on spectacle and making big budget movies because that's what puts butts in the seats. Whereas the great stories out there for the movies, those movies tend to not make as much money. That's why Hollywood steers away from telling great stories. They focus more on creating high spectacle and a great experience for the fans. That's why those movies make a lot of money, Sarah. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys have a happy New Year's 2023. Hope you guys celebrate your New Year's with your loved ones and your family and your kids, boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, whatever it is. And you guys will enjoy this video in a couple soon from now. I'm gonna upload this video, take my shower, and I'm gonna go to the store, get my beer, and I'm gonna watch the video with you guys. So, Ivan America, I'm signing out. Peace.